That all being said, time for an awesome show. Let's kick the show off talking with today's hottest news, right?
Oh, big time.
Jalen Ramsey was traded from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the LA Rams for 2 first-round picks and a 4th-rounder. Alameda, talk about it. Let me hear your view on that.
First off, they traded away Marcus Peters. I saw the news, and I was like, so they got rid of Marcus Peters. I was like, obviously, I know he hasn't been the best for them. I was like, okay, you get rid of Marcus Peters. What's the move? Like, obviously, your defense has been hurting, and your offense isn't doing anything. So what is the point of getting rid of Marcus Peters? And then, boom, Jalen Ramsey. I don't know how to feel about it because, I mean, their issues lie on the offensive line. And they mostly lie on the offense. Like, obviously, at the cornerback position, he'll be a huge, huge, huge help. But I don't know if that's what they needed. For me personally, I don't feel that's where they should have spent 2 first-round picks.
I think that's a lot to give up. That's a lot to give up for a cornerback. And I'm not trying to say, Jalen Ramsey isn't a great player. Jalen Ramsey is a fantastic player. He's a transcendent player. He's one of those players that can come on a team and change the absolute face of an organization. But you just gave away 2 first-round picks. Now what? 2 first-round picks. 2 first-round picks you gave away to acquire the services of Jalen Ramsey, who, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't hear, his back miraculously is cured. He's good to go now. He could play this weekend too. This was a move that only a team that is in win now mode could make.
Yes.
This is a move that if it was any other team, I would bash. This is a move that if it was any other team, I would question. But I have to tell you, I have nothing bad to say about it. Good move by the Rams. You traded away 2 first-round picks. You obviously believe in the guy. You think you got your line. Listen, the offensive line, that's something that's going to have to be taken care of at some point or another.
Yeah.
You dabble in free agency. I don't know. But one thing I will say about the Rams trading for Jalen Ramsey that not a lot of people are talking about. Remember, you got to sign the guy. The guy's a free agent after this year. You got to sign him. So
the money.
Listen, you're playing with fire. I mean, you traded for the guy. You gave up your future for the guy. Well, you better make sure you can sign the guy to a long-term contract. Jalen Ramsey seems happy as of right now. Let's see how long that lasts. I think Jalen Ramsey, I think it's a win-win by both sides. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars should be arrested today for absolutely committing
robbery.
The biggest in football history. They came away with 2 first-round picks and a 4th-rounder. I mean, good on you, Jacksonville. Good on you. And something interesting to watch about that, I mean, we're going to talk more and more about quarterbacks later on the show, but something interesting to watch about that is I understand everybody's going crazy over Minshew mania. I understand that the Jacksonville Jaguars signed Nick Foles. But they now have 2 first-round picks in this year's draft and next year's draft. Might that be enough to grab a guy next year by the name of Trevor Lawrence?
Ooh.
I'm just saying. Sweepstakes. Things have got interesting for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They may now have enough to move up and get a Trevor Lawrence or enter the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes next year. Now, I know we're a year away, and I know nobody wants to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. That is a real possibility, ladies and gentlemen. 2 first-round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If Minshew Mania doesn't stay consistent, if Nick Foles is Nick Foles and stays, injured, have something there.
I think we definitely need to give it some time, obviously, because, I mean, Minshew – obviously, the whole Minshew mania, it's kind of dipped down the last couple of weeks, but I still feel like he has the potential to be a franchise quarterback. I don't know, just throwing it out there. He has the potential.
Well, that brings me to my next topic.
Let's go for it.
I mean, every single week, guys, we talk about the games. We talk about the recent news, but I want to talk about franchise quarterback, a term that is thrown around too much in today's generation, today's football world. We call anybody a franchise quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, not Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Tannehill was called a franchise quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Andy Dalton was called a franchise quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, let me explain something to you. A franchise quarterback is a quarterback that plays for your team and is a consistent starter and is undoubtedly the starter for the better plus almost of a decade plus. Basically.
Yeah,
that's essentially what a franchise quarterback is. He's deemed the guy. Now, I don't have a problem with the term franchise quarterback.
It's how it's
used. I have
used.
a problem with the way it's used. It's used in the wrong context, okay? If I draft you, Alameda, first round, and I am an owner, you're my franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay? If I draft a guy in the 5th round, in the 6th round, or an undrafted guy who winds up being my starter, that isn't my franchise quarterback. That's just a guy that absolutely is exceeding expectations and is playing well. Right now, some would argue Jacoby Brissett is the franchise quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. I beg to differ. He's a starter. He's a starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. He's a capable starter for the Indianapolis Colts.
Very capable.
Luck was their franchise quarterback. Andrew Luck was deemed the guy to take the team to the next level. Jameis Winston was considered to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise quarterback, and why were they wrong? But I say all that to say, that term franchise quarterback is thrown around too much in our league, and we got to be very cautious when we say that. We got to be very, very cautious when we say the
franchise quarterback
elite or franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes, these guys, you draft these guys in the 1st, the 2nd round. I think those are guys that you are molding to be the future of your football team, or else you wouldn't taking them that high. But the proof is in the pudding. I think we got to start paying attention more to less attention to where, that the fact that these players are starting quarterbacks in the league, and more of, we got to stop deeming them franchise quarterbacks, if that makes sense. They're not franchise quarterbacks. They're starting quarterbacks. Then there's guys that we handpick to be our franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to go on that little rant.
You're good.
Anyway, talking about a little bit more. I mean, we touched on it briefly. Marcus Peters was traded today to the Baltimore Ravens for linebacker Kenny Young. Underrated move for the Rams. The Rams became a better football team today, in my opinion. Marcus Peters has become a liability out there. We saw, speaking of Jameis Winston, we saw Jameis Winston go up and down the field and kind of consistently attack his side. Something that was interesting, they just put Aqib Talib on IR, right? So we put Aqib Talib on IR. I was questioning a lot. I was like, ooh, that defensive back room is going to take a dip now that Aqib Talib isn't in there. And now they like I said, they shipped Marcus Peters. I knew they had something up their sleeve when they traded Marcus Peters, because there was no way you were going to go out there
without your top 2 corners.
Roby out there, at corner for you, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, good on the Rams. I think the Rams became a better football team today, and I think this team showed that they're ready to win, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to win. Good.
Yes, need to.
Good on them. Good on them. All right, guys. So we're going to continue talking about some of the NFL games that happened this week. I mean, we could briefly, touch on a couple of games that weren't too, I guess, shocking to the rest of the NFL world. We got the Patriots. They beat the Giants Thursday Night Football. The Giants put up a good fight in the first half. We got the Panthers and Kyle Allen. Whew. The Panthers and Kyle Allen once again carve up that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. And Jameis Winston turns the ball over consistently is what he does. Alameda, I don't mean to do this to you, but this is your day in court. You stood up here at the beginning of the season. You said, Jameis Winston is going to be the guy. Jameis Winston is going to have a breakout year. Jameis Winston is going to be a top-tier quarterback. Jameis Winston's going to perform his best under Bruce Arians. Well, guess what? Speak now or forever hold your peace, because the time has come for you to explain yourself.
I never said he was going to be a top-tier quarterback. And he's shown flashes. He has. It's obviously the same thing. He throws the ball deep. He gets the big-time yardages. And then he goes out and throws 5 picks. It's very inconsistent, Jameis Winston. I just thought that Bruce Arians would be able to scheme better so he didn't have as many of those 5 interception games or those 3 interception games as he's had. Obviously, I was wrong. Obviously, he was the same exact quarterback he's always been. I just felt like I would have seen the better side way more of Jameis Winston than I've seen.
So,
but I was wrong.
I take issue with what you just said.
What do you mean?
It seems to me, I could be wrong, but we're going to talk about it. It seems to me that you just tried to blame Bruce Arians for Jameis Winston's shortcomings, because that's what you just did. So we're going to talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
You just said, I thought Bruce Arians was going to be able to put together a bet. Whoa.
What do you mean?
That offense is taking care of Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is not making the right reads. Jameis Winston is doing the same thing Jameis Winston has always done, forcing passes, and like Bruce Arians said, trying to be Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to blame Bruce Arians.
No, I wasn't blaming Bruce Arians. I was just saying.
Oh, I'm just saying because it sounded like to me you were trying to give Jameis Winston. You left room for Jameis Winston. You left room that anybody can interpret and say, hey, maybe Jameis Winston on a different team in a different scheme could be a different quarterback. That's what you
thought. Because going into the season, we know all the quarterback gurus. We know the guys like Sean McVay, what they do, guys with Jared Goff. You said countless times, Jared Goff in another system would not be as effective as he is.
He wouldn't be.
I thought Jameis Winston in a Bruce Arians system wouldn't have as many issues, as many turnovers.
And you see, that's where we make the mistake. Understand, Bruce Arians, in his time coaching in the NFL, as an interim coach for the Colts, he had Andrew Luck. As a coach for the better part, for however many years he was coaching the Arizona Cardinals, I think it was like 5, 6 years, something like that. He had Carson Palmer. When was Bruce Arians ever a quarterback guru? When did he ever have to be a quarterback guru? He didn't have to be. He had very good players. I've never once said Bruce Arians was the top was one of those top tier coaches. I'm just saying though.
But he always has the best passing offenses in the league.
Well, you gotta look at the quarterbacks that he has. He had
and
Andrew
they're still
Luck and he had Carson Palmer. And they're putting up points because he had Andrew Luck and Carson Palmer.
Right now, they're still putting up points.
That's fine. But once again, that's Bruce Arians' system. Yes. But the issues as far as the turnovers is your boy, is your man, is your
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
But go ahead and look at the fantasy points.
The man, by the way, that you want to tell everybody that you picked in your fantasy draft as to be your Lord and Savior. That's who you picked. You thought Jameis Winston was going to be the second coming of whoever. I mean, you were sold on this man. And I told you from day one, I said he is not it.
He's had his fair share of great games. He's had his 30-plus point games.
Woulda, Jameis Winston ain't it. Simple as that, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
So the swan song continues. Boom, boom, boom. Another thing to talk about. The Redskins versus the Miami Dolphins. Listen, I don't even want to talk about the game, right? Because everybody knew Jay Gruden wanted out. Everybody knew that this Redskins team didn't want to play well under Jay Gruden. Everybody knew, what it was. Anybody could have guessed that the Redskins would have played much better or more competitive than they had all season with Bill Callahan in there as the interim head coach. Didn't take a rocket science to guess that. What I want to talk about is not the game. I want to talk about that dumb. You know what? I'm not going to say dumb. A genius decision by Brian Flores to go for a 2-point conversion when you could have just
lose the game.
To lose the game. If that is tanking, I've never seen
that's tanking at its finest.
I've never seen tanking before. That is, they went for somebody said they went for a 2-point conversion. I love it. They went for a 2-point conversion. I absolutely loved it. So Brian Flores, good on you. I mean, you're trying to do whatever it takes to secure that number 1 pick in the draft. And hey, man, I don't know if it's Tua. I don't know if it's Burrow. I don't know if it's Herbert. I don't know who it is that you're targeting, but you must be in love.
You want them.
You must want them bad, and I'm sure we'll know by the end of the season exactly who it is that you're going to draft. Anyway, keeping going with that, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the damn Browns. Let's talk about them Cleveland Browns. I'm going to let you start this one, Alameda.
I mean, the Browns, obviously, same issues. Offensive line got absolutely obliterated. Baker Mayfield has a chance late in the game. Last possession, what does he do? Goes out and throws a pick. 3 interceptions in the game. Obviously, everyone's going to go out and completely say the Browns season's over, blah, blah, blah. They kept the game close. They were up. It kills me because they had the chances. They were up early. Then they went down. And then the fourth quarter, they were up again. And then Russell Wilson went back and scored on him. And then Baker Mayfield had the chance at the end. Obviously, they lost it, whatever. It's just, I don't know. They need to put it together. But we knew this. It takes time for a team to mesh. It takes time for the chemistry to build. And I truly believe that given time, this team would have, because I'm not saying it will, would have thrived. But now,
Thriving.
You got the Patriots next on your schedule. Then you go into the Denver Broncos Stadium, Mile High Stadium. And if you lose that game, all hell breaks loose. It already could be right now. It could be. But then you go down 2-5 to the Patriots. Then you go down 2-6 to the Broncos. Because they have a very, very easy schedule late in the season. I just don't know by the time they get there if the wheels will still be on the van.
I got something to just. I just want to say a quote.
I'm here.
One of my favorite quotes.
It's here.
By a great philosopher of mine's, Baker Thy Mayfield, and the quote reads as this: "I cannot believe the Giants took Daniel Jones. It blows my mind. They picked a college quarterback whose record was a measly 17-19. They forget you've got to win." Baker Mayfield, since entering the league, you have led all NFL quarterbacks in interceptions. With 8 interceptions. I guess a 7-win season got you feeling, dangerous. I think you forget you got to not turn the ball over. I think you forget you got to shut your mouth and worry about your team. I think you forget that you got to stop doing commercials and focus on being a franchise quarterback. But hey, who am I? That's none of my business. I'm just the guy who talks sports. In other news, let's talk about actual good quarterbacks. And not waste our time. Kirk Cousins. You like that? I like that. I like what I saw. I like Kirk Cousins versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I like the Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not saying that we're going to get this Kirk Cousins each and every single week, because we have shown we are not going to get this Kirk Cousins each and every single week. But Zach Brown, linebacker, Philadelphia Eagles, came out and said he's the weakest part of the team. Well, Zach Brown is now the weakest part of no team, because he's a
free agent, baby.
He's a free agent. Now, I like Zach Brown. He's one of the better linebackers in football. I think this had more to do with him wanting out than, them wanting him out. I think that had more to do with that. I think he asked for his release, from everything I've heard from several colleagues of mine. But Kirk Cousins, Alameda, talk about it. I mean, Kirk Cousins, boy, that was an $84 million man we saw.
But it doesn't matter, Malik. It doesn't. Same thing. We know this. Kirk Cousins plays great. Absolutely great.
I want to stop you for a second, though, because I don't want this to get lost in this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Alameda was a believer in the Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins.
I still am. No, I still am. They're winning the division.
I told them I was the biggest critic. I knew what it was. No, we know who's going to win the division, but we don't get there. We'll get there. Let's keep on Kirk Cousins. We'll get there.
I'm still a huge believer in this team. I 100% am. I'm saying they win against the teams they're supposed to win against. Kirk Cousins plays great against the teams he's supposed to play great against the bad secondaries. This Eagles secondary is bad.
Sure.
The Raiders team, they went up early because they're supposed to against the Raiders team.
Sure.
They're supposed to do that. I just need to see him in crunch time, baby. Kirk Cousins, make me believe, baby. Make me believe, please. Because everything about this team screams Super Bowl.
I see what you did there. So that was good.
Everything about this team.
You're
except my boy Kirk Cousins. I pray to the Lord that Kirk Cousins can turn it around. But that's that.
22, 29, 333 yards passing,
4 touchdowns,
and 1 interceptions. You like that? I like that.
Good
on you, Kirk Cousins. Good on you, Kirk Cousins. As long as you can be consistent, I'm fine with that. Just be consistent. Right now, let's continue. I think the biggest shock of the week, in my opinion, Houston Texans going to Arrowhead Stadium go toe-to-toe, blow for blow.
Toe-to-toe with him.
With Patrick Mahomes, who I think is the best quarterback I've ever seen play the game.
100% agree.
Hats off to the Houston Texans. Alameda, what was your thoughts on the Houston Texans?
First off, let's not get this lost, because me and you, we both agree, best quarterback we've ever seen. And this whole week I've heard it, and we will continue here. Oh, maybe Patrick Mahomes isn't that good. Oh, maybe Deshaun Watson is better than Patrick Mahomes. Is Patrick Mahomes a fluke? Look at his last 4 games. Look at his last games without Kareem Hunt. This man's not really that good. Shut the hell up. It's the mainstream media. We've seen this. They're trying to convince me that Patrick Mahomes wasn't the MVP last year. And I'm just like, obviously we know 3 times this year he's hurt his ankle. 3 times. Re-injured it. They're going to come back stronger and harder. And this offense, obviously, this team's beatable now. Everyone sees them as beatable, lost to the Colts and Texans. And I believe the Texans, Deshaun Watson proved he could go toe-to-toe with Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes is still easily the best quarterback in this league. And it'll show late in the season. And, hey, come playoff time, if these 2 teams meet again, we'll see what happens. But I was truly impressed with Deshaun Watson, with his ability to go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. And they proved their offense is one of the top in the league.
Patrick Mahomes, a lot of people forget, is also playing on a bad knee. If anybody that saw that first game, he's playing on a bad knee. He injured something in that knee that he's been playing. His knee hasn't been the same throughout the entire. I think it's the left leg. He hasn't been the same since. He took a direct helmet shot to the knee, and I honestly thought his season was over because he left the game. So that's what he's dealing with, and that's what he's playing through right now. The type of grit that you're seeing from Patrick Mahomes is what it takes to be elite in this league, right?
Yes.
Great return for Tyreek Hill. Came back, 5 receptions, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Shocked me. I thought Tyreek Hill was gonna, be eased into the game plan, but who am I? Silly me for thinking that the Chiefs would underutilize Tyreek Hill. They had everybody fooled. At least they had me fooled. I don't like to touch too much on going in depth with a lot of games, but I feel like this week is causing for me to. There's like 5 more of the games that I want to talk about.
Yes.
I want to have a moment of silence. This is where, I usually say, for teams that are struggling and their season's over, I want to have a moment of silence for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons season is officially over. Kyler Murray. I apologize to you, Kyler Murray. I'm sure you'll never see this, and maybe you will. I wasn't a believer in you. I said, Kyler Murray, I don't know. I'm not really caught up in the whole Kyler train. But Kyler Murray, man, he looks like the real deal. He wheeled the deal out there. 340 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Had that offense rolling. I've never seen an Arizona Cardinals offense rolling like the way Kyler Murray had rolling. Now, I'm not saying the Falcons didn't. I'm not saying they didn't play well. Matt Ryan had a hell of a game, 30 for 36, 356 yards, 4 touchdowns. But
at this point, it doesn't matter.
Y'all the more experienced team. I think that, to be honest, I think Dan Quinn's job is over. I think it's over. I think he's out of there. And I think it sucks because they had something special going on in Atlanta. And I think all the injuries accumulated time again. And I think we're finally starting to see it. Matt Ryan isn't the problem here.
He's not. No, he's still a good quarterback.
That defense is atrocious. That defense for the Atlanta Falcons is atrocious. So I don't want to dive too much into that. Yeah. I just want to really make mention of that. Oof. In other news, keeping it going, the 49ers.
Oof.
Me and Alameda talked about this last night. Me and Alameda talk almost every other day, if not every day. And we talk football, right? We talk sports. We talk about different ideas to bring to you guys for the podcast. Well, we got talking about the 49ers. And, he was telling me that pretty much he wasn't too sold on the 49ers just yet. I said, man, that D-line could beat any team in the league. I really think so. They can rotate guys in and out. Nick Bosa, D Ford, Solomon Thomas, Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner. I mean, names, and they run a 3-4, right? These guys aren't always seeing the field at the same time together. They're getting switched in and out. And this defense is just dominant. No matter which end, you got Quan Alexander at linebacker. I mean, Fred Warner at linebacker, Richard Sherman in the backfield. I mean, it's just that defensive line is scary. I see Nick Bosa bowling over. I saw what Nick Bosa did to Andrew Whitworth, who was a multi-time Pro Bowler in this league. It was absolutely shocking. That defensive line is something scary to deal with. If they can stay healthy, I don't think there's a team in the damn NFC that wants to see this team come January.
I watched this game. I win this game. I watched it every play. And I agree with you. This defensive line, the whole defense, but the defensive line is serious. They are the best in the league. And that secondary is no joke either. They held Jared Goff to 22 passing yards in the first half. They held them to 70-something passing yards the whole game. In the third quarter, the Rams had negative 22 yards. This defense is serious. But I'm going to tell you, Malik, and I agree with you.
We know the offense, you're going to bring the offense up. I get it.
I agree with you saying no team wants to face this defensive line. But you're telling me come playoff time. If the game is down to the wire, defensive line, whatever, there's teams that are going to keep up. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, these guys will find a way to keep up. What happens when there's 2 minutes left and Jimmy Garoppolo's got to go out there and win the game? The run game's not going to be a factor. What happens when Jimmy Garoppolo is forced to win a game? What happens? That's what I'm scared for.
Let's slow that down for a second.
What I'm scared for.
Let's slow that down for a second. Okay? Yeah. Because in January, the weather gets colder.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go on the road, got to play different teams, playing in the cold environment. And they always say you need two good things in playoff football in the NFL. Yeah. You need a good defense and you need a good running game come January. Well, guess what? This is where I take all of your ammunition and I turn it back on you and I point it at you, Element. I look at you face to face and I say, woo, the one guy you were very, very high on coming into the season, Matt Breida. Very, very guy I was high on coming into the season, Tevin Coleman. I was right. Tevin Coleman, right? Matt Breida, that 1-2 punch, right?
Very good.
And then you got Joe Staley coming back. You're going to have Mike McGlinchey come back any week now from his injury. They have one of the best offensive lines in football from what I see out there. Right now, obviously not right now because they don't got the two best offensive tackles who are staples, but the interior is holding up. Now, the outside, when those guys get back, if they can run the football in January, we'll see them in February. I'm going to say it again. If they can run the football and if their defensive line could show up in January, we are going to see the 49ers in February. And there's only one game that takes place in February, Alan, and you know what it is. Going on to the next game we got to talk about. Tennessee Titans shut out against those Denver Broncos. I mean, we knew the Denver Broncos were going to start to come on strong,
and they did.
They came on strong. Marcus Mariota got benched, and it seems like it's a permanent benching because Ryan Tannehill was just announced as the starter for this football team. Ryan Tannehill, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Tannehill, the starter of the Miami Dolphins, was announced the starter over Marcus Mariota. That was an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Very, very questionable. Highly questionable Tennessee Titans offense. Doesn't seem to have answers. It didn't seem to have answers for this Denver Broncos defense. Big Fangio seems like he got this defense rocking again. What were your thoughts, Alan?
I mean, going in the game, we both knew this defense was going to step up sometime.
Sure.
And boy, oh boy, they did. I wasn't expecting, I knew Mariota was going to struggle. But the turn of events to bench him for Tannehill and to make it for the upcoming week, and it looks like he's done. There is no way he's their quarterback next year. There is no way. After everything
we were just talking about that earlier too, Joe Burrow.
There is no way. And I think for sure it's deeper than this one game because he was struggling, but it's against the Denver Broncos defense that's doing good. It's deeper than this. It's time. It's time to move on from Marcus Mariota. But the Broncos, this team could easily be 4-2, and I love this team going into the season. I love them.
You did,
and they're starting to rock. This defense is starting to rock. The offense is stable. The offense is going to get it done. They have a great run game. Joe Flacco, average show, he'll get the job done. But it's the defense that's starting to rock, completely shut out this Tennessee Titans team. Wasn't surprised at all, but I'm just excited to see this Broncos team starting to get in a rhythm.
And I think we're starting to see that happen more often than not. And it's starting to become a little bit of a, it's starting to raise some questions, honestly. It's starting to raise some questions a little bit for the Tennessee Titans.
Yes.
I don't know if they're going to be able to turn this thing around, and I certainly agree with you. I don't see any way Ryan Tannehill, Marcus Mariota starting quarterback this year. But going on to the next game, those Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the LA Chargers in what I thought was a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers because it seemed like that was a pro-Pittsburgh crowd. And I was just absolutely shocked, to say the least. I mean, what were your thoughts? I mean, I couldn't believe it. I really felt like it really seemed like to me they were playing a home game.
One thing, I did my research after this game and after the 49ers game too, because it was in LA. Both games were in LA. But the 49ers seem to have way more fans in that stadium. And same exact thing with the Steelers. But when I look back at it, it's always been this way with the Chargers. But it's never been this bad. You see the dirty towels, literally a whole section of Steeler fans everywhere. And it's like, come on, LA.
I like that thing you called. You gave it a dirty towel. It was a terrible towel.
Terrible towel, same thing. I don't know
dirty towel.
But terrible towel, dirty towel, same thing. But Chargers, just Philip Rivers. I knew coming this season they were going to face regression. It seemed obvious. Last year they had such a great year, and then injuries. They're always plagued with injuries, and then Philip Rivers can't get the job done. But to go out here, they started off 21-0. I mean, against a third-string quarterback. There's no excuse. Devin Hodges, I don't care how good he played. The third-string quarterback to go down 21-0 in the first half.
Philip Rivers is like he on a decline to me.
I mean, come on, dude.
I didn't question them. I just said, in the beginning of the season, they're gonna be same old Chargers. Philip Rivers gonna have this team rocking. They're now what, 2-4?
2-4. Yes.
I don't know. Something's
got to change.
We'll let it rock for another week, and then we'll revisit this conversation. But something got to change. Something got to change. I don't know. Maybe we might be drafting Philip Rivers' replacement this upcoming season.
Maybe.
But bringing me on to my next thing. That is the chant of the Jets. Jets, Jets. How about them Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys.
Hold on, wait. Rephrase that. How about them Jets? Talk about it.
Dak Prescott. 28.
Hold on, watch. Ready? The money. I'm Jerry Jones. Bringing it back. Gotta bring me. What is it? Bring me my money. Oh, man. But
Dak Prescott. 28, 40, 277 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, but also 0 interception. And you asking to get paid $40 million a year? Let me say this, Dak. You're not a problem. You're not a solution. So,
but you're not a problem.
By you not being a solution, you become a problem. Now we're not talking about the Dallas Cowboys paying, right? There are now other questions that are going to be raised.
Yes.
Questions are going to be about your future in Dallas, right? Because that comes with paying you too. But these are viable questions. The Dallas Cowboys couldn't get anything going under you. I mean, yeah, y'all lost by 2 points, but a lot of that was due to Ezekiel and that defense was playing a little stingy. I got serious questions, man, about Dak Prescott. I mean, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones, I would have him too. I mean, you got a quarterback driven draft that's coming up. You know, you got some names in Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Tua. Although I don't think they'll be in the range to draft a guy like Tua, Jordan Love, and the list goes on. And all these different guys, Jalen Hurts, and you really got to start asking the question. You know, is Dak Prescott our future? You really got to start asking that question. And I know it's not a question a lot of people want to talk about because Dak Prescott, stat-wise, has done more as far as playoff wins than Tony Romo has. I get that. But I understand Dak Prescott success-wise has been better for you guys than Tony Romo in terms of playoff wins. But if that's the measuring stick of him being better than Tony Romo, he surpassed that, right? Tony Romo didn't get you guys any Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Tony Romo, I think, got you guys one playoff win. If that's the measuring stick of why we're going to keep Dak Prescott around, if we're going to hang our hat on, a few playoff wins that he's gotten us, I think, too, I think you got to start reevaluating it. I really think so because you want somebody that's going to be able to. This is a very talented Dallas Cowboys football team, and they're underperforming. They're underperforming, and the only reason why they've been in some of these games is because of their defense. I'm being honest. Their offense, especially their passing offense, is highly questionable. Highly questionable. Kellen Moore is a good play caller. I get that, but I don't question Kellen Moore. Okay, he's a first-time play caller. Question Dak Prescott. I question the man that's asking to be paid $40 million, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I think he gets the money. I think they pay him, but you got to question it at some point.
Yeah.
The Jets are like a completely different team under Sam Darnold. Completely different team under Sam Darnold. And
it's their season, everything that happened before, throw it out the window. Literally, just throw it out the window. Sam Darnold with him back in this lineup. They got a really easy schedule coming up.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to beat the Patriots next Monday. There you go.
We'll see. It'll be a good game in New York. Monday Night Football. It'll be a good game. But Sam Darnold back in this lineup, you can just tell. And it makes sense. The whole team, the whole organization, after beating the damn Dallas Cowboys, rejuvenated. They know. 1-4, doesn't matter. Record doesn't matter. They're back in this. They are back in this with Sam Darnold.
Same thing goes for my Bengals. They win one game, they're back in it, 1-6. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. All right, so we're about to wrap up here on the show, guys. But before we wrap up, pick one game, Alameda. What is your upset of the week?
Upset of the week this upcoming week. Ooh. I already know yours. Let me look at it real quick. We got some good games on here. I don't know if this is too big of an upset, but you know what? I'm gonna let it rock. Hear me out. The Denver Broncos to beat the Chiefs. Thursday Night Football. Chiefs continue their decline. Denver Broncos win that game, and now the Denver Broncos are back in it. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far. We all know my prediction this upcoming week. The New York Football Jets are going to beat the New England Patriots, giving them their first loss of the season. Just something that's going to be the Patriots roadblock in the season, get them just to, realize that they are a normal football team, and then they'll go back to their winning ways after that following week. But this will be that loss for them, guaranteed. The Jets will be guaranteed. I guarantee it. Alameda, if I'm wrong, I'll take you out to dinner tomorrow.
Ooh, let's get it. Let's go. I'm keeping your word on that.
My word is my bond. I guarantee that. So, anyway, guys, this was an awesome show. Remember, guys, where to follow us. You can look in the description below. You'll see where you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you like what you see. And hopefully you like what you see. Anyway, it was awesome, as always, guys. And remember, as always, there's only one way, and that is
the right way, Malik.
He's so corny, guys, but the right way. You guys have a great night, and we will see you next week.